Here we are once more in my study, and today we are going to discuss biblical interpretations and how we can understand better the things that we read. I've chosen for this particular lecture the one thing that everyone is familiar with and hopefully will understand a little better, and that is the Shema, the proclamation that we make at every service, the proclamation we make upon our entering different areas of conflict or undecided adventures that cause us maybe a little agony or angst, as they call it. The Shema has been on the lips of our people since time immemorial, since the time the Israelites were standing in the mountain and announced unilaterally and in unison that God is their God after experiencing the Exodus and all the wonders that took place during that episode in their history. So as I've mentioned many times at services, the Shema is our affirmation of faith. The one proclamation, as I said, that we pronounce every waking moment of our time because it encompasses the concept of one God and the acknowledgement that there is only one God. But how did the Shema come to be in the forefront of our faith? It talks about Israel, Shema Yisrael, Hear O Israel. It's a declarative form. It's a command form for people to listen. The original name of the people came from Jacob. Jacob, as you recall in the Bible, had a dream one evening and experienced angels up and down, going up the ladder, coming down the ladder. He struggles with God all night, and at the end, his name is changed to Israel, which translates struggling with God. And that's in essence what our people have been doing ever since we've established the concept of one God, struggling with the concept itself, struggling with the understanding of God, how God fits into our lives, the purpose God designed for us at the very beginning. But the important thing to understand is that that is a human trait given to us by God. It's called choice. Not to accept things as they are, but to question, to try to find out why things are as they are, why things happen because of different things that occur in this world, and what motivates us to do the different things that we do. That is why human nature is built with the understanding not to accept without question, not to accept without trying to understand what we do with our lives and how we live it. Jewish identity has always struggled with many facets: death, life, always looking for answers as to why things occur, how things occur, what is the purpose for their occurrence. So it's a universal trait that we enhanced over a period of time. Some people might call it a lack of faith because we question all the time. And some people might even say that we have no faith because of all the questioning that we do. But the truth of the matter is, that is how we were created, to ask, to understand, to try to find out reasons for the things that we do and reasons for the things that happen to us. That's why we search. That's why we study. That's why we intensify our need for learning. It is our trademark, our hallmark, if you will. Education is the primary goal of our understanding of life. You can't enjoy life. You can't understand life. You can't find meaning in life and fulfillment without learning what life is all about. The experiences we go through daily are part of that learning experience. The other parts, of course, deal with the books that we read, the texts that have been produced over the time, over centuries and over millennia, of the different experiences that our people have had and other people have had that give us more insight into who we are. So let's analyze what the Shema really means to all of us. First of all, as I mentioned, it declares, it commands to listen. Stop what you're doing and listen to what is being said. Stop moving, stop doing everything. Just listen. In order for us to understand, there has to be total concentration. So let's talk about the second word, Israel or Israel. Originally, it was not the name of a country or of a people, but the name of an individual. As I mentioned to you, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and from that time forward, we were considered the children of Israel, our patriarchs in our faith, or the beginnings of who we are. Judaism concentrates on the individual. That is how we understand life better. We involve ourselves with the whole. Our prayers are developed into the whole. But each one of us has a contribution to make to the betterment of society. So let's look at Israel as a challenge to face what lies ahead, a challenge to face the unknown, a challenge to face the things that we involve ourselves in so that we can better understand what's involved in our lives. The second word, or the third word actually, Adonai, is another name for God. And there are several names within our faith that describe God. You've heard Elohim. Elohim is a description to indicate God is all, everything there is. Shaddai is another name we attribute to God, and that's given to him in the case when we are battling different things in our lives. We use that terminology to express our belief that God battles with us in the different aspects of our journey. So Adonai teaches us that we are eternal, there is no limit, no space, and everything we do requires concentration so that we can develop into a state of understanding. And even when we die, the question of what happens is another aspect of what Adonai means, because it deals with today and tomorrow and the day after and even the time after that. The fourth word is Eloheinu, our God. It's written in the plural because God is eternal. God is everyone's God, not just one person's God, but everyone. And that's what we have brought to the forefront in bringing the theory and the concept of monotheism to the world. Some say because we use it in the plural that it refers to many gods, but that's not true. It's talking about our God and the God of all people, and that's why it's put into the plural. Some of these things are a little, shall we say, unnecessary to even understand. But still, it's important for us to know how this declaration came to be and what it stands for and how it affects our lives. And of course, the next phrase is Adonai Echad, God is one. And that, of course, is the essence of our faith, the essence of what we brought to the world. We are the bearers of the truth that there is one God and only one God. Then we come to the second paragraph of the Shema. talking about loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And to teach them diligently to our children. As I mentioned to you, education is a primary goal of our responsibility. And it talks about sitting in your house and talking about it. It talks about when you go on your way to talk about it. What is it talking about? It's talking about the concept of understanding the value and purpose of life. I keep expressing that and emphasizing that because it's so important, because each life that we were given, or that each of us has, was given to us because God considers us all valuable and important. So we have to take the concept that God instilled in us and expand it to incorporate other people as well. Look, we go through difficulties. There's no question. We go through adversity. We go through traumas. We go through unimaginable experiences that we could never, ever experience without going through it. We can't really understand it without going through it. So what we learn from talking about it and from trying to understand it and using God as part of our equation gives us the ability to focus on the fact that we're not alone. We are not alone in this world. We do have a partner, not only with each other, which is important, but also with God, who is there. It may seem at times that God is distant, and we even question the very existence of God when we go through ordeals and turmoils. Look at the pandemic that we're experiencing right now. Almost 300,000 of our citizens have perished because of this pandemic. They're talking about 200,000 or maybe more by the springtime. It leads us with the question in our minds, if there is a God, why is this happening? How could God allow this to happen? That is the eternal question that people ask whenever they go through difficulties in their lives. Our need is to try to understand that God plays a certain role in our lives, not the dominant role. We are partners with God. We have responsibilities as does God. God gave us breath. God gave us the ability to choose. God gave us the ability to understand and to think. That is the partnership we have God. God gave us the ability to understand these things by experiencing them and then finding ways to overcome them. That is the partnership. Now we pray. People ask, well, what's the value of prayer if the basic responsibility for our lives rests with us? The truth of the matter is prayer plays a very valuable part in our existence because it gives us the ability to express ourselves, the ability to say things that we feel in our heart and that are on our mind so that we can feel better because of that. That's why people go to therapies, to psychiatrists, to try to understand the value that they have, what their purpose is, and why they're going through these ordeals, and how can they overcome them. That is what the value of prayer is. God listens, God hears, and eventually there is some relief that is offered to us by God, but not without the partnership that we bring to the equation. We can't expect to sit back and say, God, do this for us and do that for us, and everything will be fine. It does not work that way. We beseech God to give us the ability to understand it, to overcome it, and to find ways to overcome the adversity we're going through. That's what the partnership is all about. That's what the Shema teaches us as well. The spirituality of our connection with God. The spirituality that we need in our lives to give us the ability to cope and move on and accept certain things in our lives and try to do better with the things that we know we can do better with. That is what is important for all of us. People can pontificate and sermonize and tell you all the things that it will take to give your life more meaning. But I will tell you this: words matter. Sometimes words have an impact on our lives and give us the ability to overcome certain things. But we can't rely on them alone. We have to, in our minds, understand what we are experiencing so that we can understand the value again, the value and the purpose of our existence. We weren't created here just to be, and then it's over. That's not what the intention was. I could sit here all day and tell you how to live your lives. I've never done that, and I never will. What I will and I continue to do is to help guide you through the experiences so that you can understand them better and perhaps learn to adjust, accept certain things, learn to cope with other things, and learn to deal with everyday life. That's the value of faith. That's the value of religion, is what it was intended to do. You know, some people talk to me about different traditions and examples that they grew up with and that they find necessary in their lives. I will try to help you understand what the value of tradition is, what the value of laws, religious laws are, what the value of understanding our place in the sun and our relationship with God. That's my function, and I will never shirk from that responsibility to help guide you through these paths. But traditions were designed to help give us discipline in life. That's what they're there for. All the laws that are written, I'm talking about religious laws, were designed not to create a burden in our lives, but rather to give us the ability to cope with the different difficulties we go through, to give us a discipline so that we have some life that has meaning. Life without discipline is chaotic. There's no reason or rhyme to it. And that's what discipline is all about. And religion is designed to teach us the disciplines of life. So I would encourage people to look at these different traditions that we have, not as a burden, not as something that is detrimental in any way or will cause us pain if we don't follow these traditions, but rather as a guide, a helping hand to lead us into a life that we can enjoy. That's the whole design of faith and religion. Again, to give meaning, to give fulfillment, to give purpose, to give understanding. That's what all the learning in the world is all about. Not that one idea is better than the other. Does not hold true. I reject people who stand up and tell you that the only path to salvation is this way or that way. God didn't design us to understand one path only. God designed us with the ability, and I repeat and repeat, to choose the path that gives us the most meaning in our lives. That's the value. That's what our faith teaches. That's what all these books try to explain in different ways. Everyone has an understanding that may differ from the next. And there's nothing wrong with that. But to say that that one is the right way and this way is the wrong way is not the way to achieve gratification and satisfaction and fulfillment. I encourage you to take advantage of what we offer. I encourage you to stay tuned to our congregation. Stay connected to it, because we can give you the help you're looking for. We can be there in your time of need. And we will be there when it counts the most. So please, stay with us, join with us, participate with us, always be with us, because we are and will always be with you. My blessings to all of you.